Everyone, this is Kenny from Broadstreet. This is a quick demo of Broadstreet XPRESS specifically for publishers who do not use Broadstreet as their core ad server. So we have publishers out there who want to use Broadstreet's products, who use DFP or Adserver or AdRotate for WordPress or any other platform, and they see some of the different ad formats we're coming out with that we announce sometimes via the newsletter or the Broadstreet community group on Facebook. And they see these different ad formats and they say, I really want to use these, but I'm on Google DFP. Is there a way to use them? And the answer has always been yes, but it was a little harder in the past. We've made it a lot easier, and we've packaged all of these ad formats in a new tier we call Broadstreet XPRESS. Now, the Express you're seeing on our website here is $200 a month, monthly minimum. That is the subscription price. For publishers who only use Broadstreet as a source of rich media creatives, we have a special tier available. We're still working out the pricing. It's not going to be $200 a month. It's going to be drastically reduced because you aren't using a significant part of our platform. But we still wanted to package up the different ad formats we had, take some of our exclusive ad formats that are only available on the Express tier, throw those into, and make a nice little package for the publishers who are using DFP, AdRotate, etc. So let's jump right into Broadstreet XPRESS and see exactly what you get. Some of the new ad formats, some of the new metrics, analytics, different things that you can use to impress your advertisers. Let's take a look at the dashboard. Here we are inside the Express interface. If you're familiar with the interface at all, you can see that it's greatly simplified because you don't really have to deal with the different things like zones and campaigns because you're already using something like Google DFP. You probably just want to get in, get out. In this case, I would say let's kind of pretend that we have a real estate agent that we really want to get advertising, and we want to mock something up for them very quickly and hopefully impress them enough that they'll buy the ad and we can close the deal. So what we do, let's just say you logged in to Broadstreet. We'll click on advertisers. We have our different accounts here. You can split this up and we could say, let's just say Kenny the real estate guy. You can see we have some options for automatic reports and things like that. We'll get to take a look at what the reports look like in a bit. We don't have any advertisements yet, so we'll create one now. And this is what you'll see. You have access to the entire library of Broadstreet ad formats, a growing library, because we're putting out new ad formats every week. And right now we're at about 35, I think it is. We'll be pushing toward 50 and then toward 75 and toward 100. So we're going to have by far the largest collection of templated ad creatives available to you. And when I say templated, it truly is templated because in most cases, you don't need a designer to build these things. You can actually just go in with text and images and just plug them right into the ad. It shouldn't take you more than 2 minutes. Maybe even a minute to create some of these ad formats. So you can see we have the scratch-off ad that was very popular. Groupon was a big fan of the scratch-off ad. They used it for some of their marketing. We have some in-story ads, some native-style ads. The Cube, which has been extremely popular among our publishers and their advertising clients. We have some publishers who have like 10 cubes on a single page. I never imagined that would happen, but they are just that popular. Before and after. So we do try and cater to different use cases. So real estate and car dealerships and any of those big deep-pocketed advertisers that we know our publishers want to go after. We want to give you the tools to really impress them and blow your competition out of the water. So whoever is, also talking to your potential client, pitching them a standard 300 by 250 banner compared to these different ad formats, that 300 by 250 banner is not going to be that impressive. So you can see that, obviously you have the whole collection of ad formats, but you can also see that we do track metrics. And take a look at this over here, metrics tracked. For example, if someone uses the scratch-off ad, at the end of the campaign, we can tell you how many people scratched off 1% of that ad, 25% of that ad, 50% of the ad, 75, how many people scratched off the entire thing. And that applies to a lot of our different ad formats. So if we click on this coupon, let's see if we can find one with a lot of different metrics that are tracked. I think the YouTube ad is a good one too. The YouTube ad. So this is just a simple ad format that displays an advertiser's video. How many advertisers do you know that had a promotional video made that just sits on YouTube and has about 12 views or something like that. This is a great way for them to get their video out there and on your site, and you can prove that it's being loaded, it's being played, and you would not believe how performant this YouTube video is. It tends to get between 1% and 2% click-through rate, and you can track how many people played it, paused it, watched 25, 50, 75% of it, etc. So in addition to this growing collection of ad formats, we're trying to hit about 100 and have the largest collection of ad formats on the internet. You also have access to Express exclusive ad formats. So everyone else who's not on Express has to kind of pay a la carte per ad format. It might be $10 a month, $15 a month. It varies depending on the ad and the different things involved. But with Express, you kind of have that that minimal pricing, but you have access to all of these kind of like all-you-can-eat style for all of these ad formats. And we have these exclusive ad formats like the sponsored content tracker. A lot of our publishers do sponsored content, and we track different metrics like views, unique views, text selection, the amount of time the user spent on page. Text selection is like, you can literally see what users might have copied and pasted when they were sharing content. Link clicks, how did the user exit the page? What links did they click within the article? We can also tell you globally how many shares the item got, the piece of content got on Facebook. So a lot of different metrics for the sponsored content tracker. We're pushing out different ad formats for the different events during the year, like Valentine's Day, Graduation Day, Mother's Day, Father's Day. And we're focusing on those industries, that really have the budget to market the different things that they intend to market. Like real estate agents typically have a budget to try and sell a house. So we have an advertiser who is a real estate agent. Let's go ahead and create a quick ad. Now keep in mind that you're not actually billed for any ads you create. Well, you're already paying the subscription, so you're not really billed at all. But you can create these ads just to mock them up and show the real estate agent ahead of time, just like, hey, this ad could be yours. You could load it up ahead of time, mock it up, and just impress them. A lot of times when you create the ad, you kind of put that idea in their head and they want it. So a lot of people tend to see something and want it. And if you try and describe it to them, you can't really show them anything. It's kind of a harder sell. But if you have it available and it only took you like about 2 minutes to set it up, it's a lot easier. So let's get right into the templating aspect of it, and we'll just call this real estate mockup. If you want to allow the advertiser to come in and edit this ad, change it around, maybe they're selling a new house or something like that, all you have to do is check this off, allows editing, and give them a login. A lot of advertisers really like the idea that they can just log in and change the ad anytime they want, and they can also add checkout reporting. We'll take a look at that too. So I mentioned that all of these ads are templated, kind of turnkey. We saw the ad before. It had a logo at the top, which we can upload and change here. We can also view the default logo. This was the default logo in this case. We can set the listing details. You can change the width. So if you want this to fit in a 300 pixel wide spot, that's great. If you need it to fit in a 600 pixel wide spot, you can get really, these ad formats are very flexible. You can change the images. In this case, we saw there were 2 images in the preview. There were 2 images in the preview. I think I can show you what this ad format looks like. Let's take a look over here. If you're ever curious as to the different types of ad formats we have, this is updated constantly. If you go to our support area, click on ad formats. All right, so you see our entire gallery. You have a new slide-in ad, and here's the real estate gallery we're going to create right now. So here it is, live, and you can see we can click through the different pictures. And in this area, you also get a full specification of all of the inputs and the different things that you need to create one of these ads. It's actually really easy. We have these different images. We can upload different images for each slide. It can take up to 5 images, doesn't require 5 images. We can set a link for the ad. We can set the agent's picture. change their name, their contact information, and if we'd like, we can also add some extra styling. So if you have a developer or a little CSS yourself, you can actually get even deeper in terms of customization of the ad. So what we're going to do is create this advertisement. Take a look and see what it looks like in the dashboard. All right, there we go. All right, so you can see that we have the default image loaded. We didn't set an avatar for the user at all, and then we have the user's contact information. So, like I said, right now I realize we didn't have that the description down here, but let's just go over here and just say open house, February 28th, 2016. All right, so I'll just set that down here, update the ad. All right, there we go. So you can see that the open house information I just entered appeared here. So here's the ad, and if you have the agent's picture, that's nice, and you can add some other details. You can also add other pictures. We didn't do any of that. We just have the bare bones version of the ad and all of the default data. But you can see that I created that in probably about 20 seconds. You can customize it and make it look a lot more like this one, with the logo and the pictures and all of that thing, all of that stuff. So once you create this, as somebody uses DFP, you obviously want to load it into DFP. How do you do that? You just go up here and click on Get Ad Code. So here it is. This plugs right into Google DFP. This is an asynchronous ad tag that includes everything you need. So there's no, ad units you have to create or anything like that. It plays very nicely with Google DFP. I have one that is already has already been created, and it's been created. But why don't we'll get rid of that and then paste in our new ad code, and you can see that DFP is happy with it. We'll save it. And then let's go over to preview and see what we got. Okay. There we go. So now the ad is loaded in DFP and ready to serve. So why don't we take a look at some of the different analytics that we can track with these new ad formats that we have available. All right, so here we are back at the dashboard. Let's just say it's a month in or 2 months in, and it's time for the advertiser to get a report on how their ad is doing. Now keep in mind, they can, if they want to, log in and view the reports themselves. You can also set them up for automated reports, but let's just say that this is the first time they're actually going to get a report. So we have this ad that we created. Because we just created this ad, there obviously aren't any stats for it, but we can look at the stats for another ad that we've created. So this is the house ad account. So every ad that we create or Broadstreet creates for promotional purposes, the ones that we display over our website, this all goes under our promotional account. And why don't we pick something that has some interactivity? Let's see if we can find a scratch off. Scratch off. Okay, here we are. So here's the scratch off ad. You can see well, it does what it says. You can actually change the text under here, but you can scratch it off, and this is the one that Groupon used. They were really excited about it. So it's the end of the campaign. Now you have to, or not the end of the campaign, it's midway through the campaign or the end, and now you have to show that advertiser that their ad actually performed. So this is where the analytics comes in, and you can actually get here by going to analytics as well, but we just clicked in through that link up on the top, and you can get some interesting stats. Now you can see a breakdown of events by city. An event is pretty much any time a user interacts with the ad, that's considered an event. So like a click, a scratch in this case, and completing the scratch. These are our different events. Zones, because you're using DFP or a third-party ad server, this isn't so relevant to you, but the breakdown of event by city. But you can also get the numbers on clicks and scratches. Now, when you give an advertiser numbers on how many clicks they got or how many views they got, that's kind of a mystery, even to most publishers. You say, okay, your ad got 100 clicks in the last month, but deep down, like, the publisher doesn't really know whether those were robots or where they came from, whether they were even in the town or the general area that that the publication is located in or the advertiser is located in. So you show that number and you want to be confident in those performance numbers, but it's kind of difficult to do that when you don't really know the source of those clicks. So what we've done, and keep in mind, this goes not just for Broadstreet's rich media library, this goes for just standard banner ads. So a standard by 300 by 250 has the exact same ability. You can see exactly where those clicks came from. So in this case, let's take a look and see where those clicks came from in the last month. You can see we break it down by city, wherever that is. Somebody's obviously very, very big hit. So you can see the actual where these click events actually came from. So you have Cape Town, that's across the world, Linwood in Washington State, Jackson, New Jersey, Miami, Florida, Louisville. Now, of course, in your case, these are actually going to be much more localized. Broadstreet, we're kind of an international company at this point, international in the sense that our publishers are all over the place. And, they come to our website, check out our advertising formats and play around with them. But I can see where the people who are interested came from. And this is just the last month. So let's take a look at how many people scratched the entire thing. In this case, we had 11 over the past month. Let's see, Rumson, New Jersey, San Angelo, Texas, Groveland, New York, Florida, New Mexico. So you can see this, and keep in mind this, the click measurements, the scratch measurements, all of the metrics that Broadstreet tracks. You can get geographical information, get the exact time, the internet service provider. You can prove to your client that these are real people. All right, this is something no other platform does. And not only that, you can actually explore the user. You can see what else they did. So we know that they completed the scratch, but let's see what else they did. All right. So they arrived on the page. They scratched 1%, and over the course of, you can see, over the course of maybe 5 seconds, they scratched the entire thing. Now, for different ad formats, a lot of the ones that are a little more interactive, you have the ability, like a gallery, next slide, last slide. If it's more of a game type ad, we can track all of those metrics, and you can actually see for an individual user the different interactions they had and the different event values. I mentioned the sponsor content tracking ad before. Same exact metrics where you can say, okay, this many people read the entire piece of sponsored content and this is where they came from, or this many people selected text inside the sponsored content and this is the text that they selected, or this many people clicked a link in that sponsored content to get out of the page and this is the link they clicked. So you get some really detailed information. So you have all this great information and then you want to present it to your advertiser. So what do you want to do? You want to get a report. You want to get a downloadable report. Let's take a look at what we get here. So here's the scratch off ad, and you get a report. It's white labeled with your logo. All right, and this isn't a PDF yet. This is actually a web view that you can give your advertiser access to. And you can see you get a breakdown by city, the extended summary events. So same metrics that we saw before, and we get some click data right there, all listed right here inside a PDF. And if I want the PDF, just click on that. It takes a few seconds because it's generated on the fly. You're not getting a stale PDF with old data. A lot of platforms will generate the data twice a day or maybe once a day, or maybe on demand and then email you later. We'll produce it for you right when you request it, white label it, and you get a nice PDF. Now what you can also do, let's go back to our analytics interface. I can go right back to that advertiser where I was before. All right, and go to edit advertiser and actually add. You can see I have a few accounts here that I was testing with. But if I want to add an advertiser or give a client a login, all I have to do is enter their email address right here. And you can set a password, and then Broadstreet will automatically email them and say, okay, here's your login, here's your password. You can also set them up for automatic reports, so you don't have to log in, download this PDF, and then email it to them. You can actually have it sent to them automatically. And the email that gets sent to them is also white labeled with your logo. So it's very professional, very impressive to the advertiser, and it attaches the PDF. So you have these very powerful ad formats that you can create very quickly. All right, they impress the advertiser, And then you have these advanced metrics that nobody else offers, and they all get compiled into a report and sent off to the advertiser. On top of that, the advertiser can log in. When they do log in, they can change their ads. So they can come in here and they could say, okay, I have that real estate ad. This is the real estate gallery that we have on display on Broad Street. I want to come in here. The advertiser come in here. Maybe they have a new open house. They can say, forget all this. Open house, just like we did before. Update the ad. It might take a few seconds. And there we go. So we have the original text there. So the advertiser can log in. Eventually what we're going to have an iPhone app that advertisers can use to update this themselves. So think about real estate agent, very quickly, just want to go on the computer, just wants to save time, just snap a picture with their iPhone, plug it into the Broadstreet app. It's going to be called Laserbeam, and update their ad. So this is really powerful stuff. Nobody else has it, and hopefully you can put it to good use and close a lot more deals. And like I said, we're always coming out with new ad formats. We're gonna build up to a library of 100, if not more. So hopefully Express is something that you might be interested in going forward. If you have any questions, anything I left out or you think I left out, email Kenny at broadstreetads.com, and I hope to talk to you soon.